Hey guys, worst fan of the night.
Worst fan of the night.
I'm not going to say that.
Second fan of the night.
Second fan of the night. Oh boy. Well, okay. So what we have?
ABANDOFRESH.
It is ABANDOFRESH. This is a CEC Newport. Some collectors are kind of aware of the excursion I've had with rescuing a handful of fans out of a pretty notorious abandoned place in Gary, Indiana. This was the last fan on that floor that we wanted to rescue, and as of a couple of days, as seen here, it has been rescued. So it has had an extremely hard life. It was seen running in an old urbexing video back in 2010 after the building had already been abandoned for 15 years, and it had bearing noise even at that point in time. It looked to be running on high reverse, and the building lost power sometime in the mid-10s, and then it's been sitting ever since. So needless to say, this thing has a lot of hours on it, like running for decades straight. So it needed a little TLC. I had to replace the reverse switch. The bearings were very stiff, but a couple of drops of oil freed them right up. It did not take much. When it was installed, it actually had the plain side of the blades facing down, but I flipped them because vintage.
Which is actually what I got to do to the Fuddruckers.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw those had the stunt. I didn't realize those even had stunts.
I had no idea all this time.
Never would have known, right? Yeah, no, I didn't. We weren't sure if this even had anything on the other side.
Yeah,
so.
now you see.
You never know. So, but yeah, it's tired. But I gotta hand it to CEC. This thing's been to hell and back. And the fact that it works at all after that.
Let me ask you a question. So other than the reverse switch, is this all original?
Yes,
Nice.
it is original blades, irons, housing.
I could use those blade arms.
No. I'll keep an eye out. I'm sure we could find some more.
Yeah.
Those are pretty common.
This is probably the second worst version of these that CEC made. The worst version is the 90s version with the detachable switch cup.
Is that what you had in 12 wings? That
yeah.
really loud one?
Yeah, this one's pretty loud too, though.
It is.
Yeah, these have I think these are. Well, I guess they're CEC made, aren't they?
Oh, it's definitely
yeah.
CEC. It has that CEC serial number sticker on the side of the motor.
It's got the kind of UFO shaped motor that's very similar to TAT's stamped motors. That's what made me second guess it for a second. But yeah, no, it's definitely CEC. Kmart famously sold these.
Yes.
On the block growing up. My parents' block, there was a house that had two of these 5-blade. They might still be there. Same low profile canopy. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure they were the stamp motor. Yeah, these were a big part of my childhood, but they're not one. I mean, once you get to the cast motor version, they're just so much nicer.
Yeah, the cast ones are definitely better. But honestly, the motor housing and switch housing, I think, are almost the same as the older ones. It's
pretty close.
That different. I might be cheapened a little.
I think the main thing that bothers me is that the stamp motor recesses further into the housing, so the profile of it is a little different.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But no, I like these actually.
Yeah,
and it is pretty impressive that Rick got it original, complete, and working. That it's had the life that it's had.
Reverse switch was real, and the reverse switch was shot. Even just jamming it in, you could barely get it to make contact. In reverse, forward was totally dead. I just said forget it, just replace it.
Okay.
Also, it is from 1988, which actually I wasn't as familiar with the timeline on these. I thought it was actually a little bit older than that, but so 88, I guess, which actually kind of checks out based on what Dan's saying. But yeah, and it has a Kmart sticker, so it's definitely.
No, I definitely remember seeing these in Kmart as a kid, and so they couldn't have been that old because I was born in '84.
Right.
So they had to be in.
The weird part to think about though is this was only in use while the building only had about 7 years left when they put this up.
Yeah.
Which is a strange thing about. So it really.
Well, yeah, but you don't know. They probably didn't know it at the time of the building.
Oh no, they didn't. But I mean, it's just like it wasn't even in a intact building.
Okay. Is it set to low?
I hope so. I think it is. Yeah.
Wow, that hums loudly even on low.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's coil taps.
Are we gonna do RPMs on all 3 speeds or just high?
Probably just high. I would think.
Yeah, that's your call.
Yeah, we'll just do high. I think.
Not a bad low, actually.
No, it's not terrible.
Wonder how this is gonna do on the solid state.
Oh, no.
Bearings aren't loud, surprisingly.
They will once it gets up to speed. They are not dry at all. Like you get that like swirly, worn bearing sound, which is to be expected with 30.
Either wet bearing or pitted bearing. We'll figure out which.
I think it's wet. Like honestly, I didn't hear any pitting.
Wet bearing noise doesn't bother me.
Right. Okay. So 0.27 amps, which I think seems about right. 32 watts, and yes, it's definitely 100% square taps.
Okay.
Do we have
Yeah, it's right there on next to the test rig.
fan stick?
Tachometer.
No, he's looking for fan stick.
Oh,
I wasn't gonna. I was just gonna.
Oh,
I was
fan
just.
stick
Oh yeah. Oh
is-
yeah. We should.
Fan stick is
by
the
the
solution.
ladders. By the ladders.
Actually, yeah. I'll get our. Or I'll get
You change your mind about the RPMs?
Yeah, you know what? I think I do want to do RPMs. Where's the gizmo?
I have no idea.
Right.
Oh, right.
Oh, right to my face.
Test rig, and then fan stick is by the ladders.
It's a good thing because fan stick is the solution to.
All of our problems.
I'm getting 214.
Okay, so that's gonna be like 53.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Here you go.
Try to reach that pull chain, Rick, and just see what happens. Oh no! This is the worst
day of my life.
1, 2, 3. Buy fan stick.
I think this one might need Florida fan stick.
Oh, is Florida fan stick still at my house?
Yeah, which.
Fan stick is a solution to all of my problems.
Now you got me wondering where Florida fan stick ended up.
I thought it was with the Christmas stuff at your house.
Let's look for it because I don't remember seeing it there.
How did you lose track of Florida fan stick? Dude,
Yeah,
that's 69%.
I did let my crazy neighbor borrow it, but I thought he gave it back.
All right, let's see. So now we're at 0.46 amps, 52 watts, and yeah, still power factor.
Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana.
443. So it's like 125 or 100, like 110.
Yeah,
Yeah, that looks about right.
that is loud as shit.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we've had a fan out here that has been that loud, just like
It resonates. Well, it's resonating with everything.
It
It's the
is.
problem, just through that beam. That's the problem.
there's probably nothing to isolate vibration on it at all.
It's all metal on metal. I honestly adding some washers
Crunch,
and
crunch, crunch,
ground crunch would probably help a lot.
Even just some rubber washers between the mounting bracket and the ceiling.
Yes. This is literally the best spot for fan stick though. This is like designed for fan stick. Oh yeah, it's loud.
Well, I don't hear the bearings over the motor.
Yeah, well, there's that.
I hear them a little bit. It does sound like wet bearing noise, which, like I said, doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I oiled them pretty good. It didn't take much to free them up though. And again, this was probably running for about 20 years straight, like in a terrible apartment.
Definitely looks under 200.
Yeah.
I thought this was indicative of an issue, but Rick says he's seen others of these in videos go this slow.
I saw a 5-blade one that was probably a slightly later one that had a similar high speed. I mean, it doesn't mean that one doesn't also have a capacitor. I'm getting 562.
I'm actually going to do the math on that one as opposed to, 140. That's pretty slow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said, this was in fact about how fast it was going in the old video, so I don't know if...
Yeah, and he said he tried a different capacitor and it actually went slower, so.
Yeah. I mean, if I suppose if I change the capacitor and ends up...
Well, here's an easy way to tell. Spin down. Or you got to CFM first.
Yeah, leave it on. No, we got stuff we can do.
It's not moving nothing. I do feel air.
I think the blades are similar dimensions to the older style.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't
the
think it's
same.
really that different.
They're just cheaper, but they're the
Just
same. But could just be. It could also be that the bearings are still rough. That
They
could
just
be.
be dragging a little. Yeah, I don't know.
That's a possibility. Yeah. If you said you tried another capacitor in it, then
I
that's
did.
yeah.
It was granted it was a half microfarad lower. but
Half microfarad should not make a
it
noticeable
was,
difference.
that seemed slower when I put that one in. So.
Yeah.
.314 is the best I'm getting, which is 952.
Yeah, that's about 4,600.
Yeah, That's
pretty
it.
low.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew it was gonna be low.
Here, hit the high switch, Pete.
It is.
It's not on high.
It is on high.
I mean, turn it off is what I meant.
Oh, for spin down.
Yeah. Just see. We'll see how abruptly it comes to a stop.
The I want to at least do high reverse on this because
Okay.
reverse is important on this because it was running. In
I mean, I
reverse and
assumed we
the-
would do all the speeds in reverse, but if you want to just do high, that's fine too.
I'd be shocked if it stops quickly because
It looked like it was dragging really quick at first, and then now it's like, leveling off.
maybe a little stiff, but it's, I mean, you could barely turn it before.
Oh, no, nobody's saying it wasn't a drastic improvement.
Maybe a smidge stiff, but... Oh, we forgot to do current draw on high.
Oh yeah, well we'll do that in high reverse. Oh yeah, definitely still quite a bit stiff.
Yeah. Well, it's the you get that like where it kind of goes like that, you know.
Yeah, so it'll probably go faster after it's had a chance to break in. If we're not,
Right.
if you want to, we could leave it here and on high overnight.
I mean, I guess we're coming back tomorrow. There's no harm in that.
I mean, I don't know if we're coming. We don't have. We talked about coming back here versus my house, but either way.
Let's do 0 to high right now so we can get
Okay.
that high reading.
Okay.
I think it's probably gonna be Andy. What do you think?
I'll say speed and rush.
I'm gonna say no in rush.
You're right on this.
A little in rush.
Okay.
Guess we don't know what the target.
Was it a 0.7?
0.74. Oh, went down one. Or it's small right now. Still at small.
Big.
Oh, that was big. Okay.
Hit the power factor and all of that. Yeah. Yeah, I figured it'd still be
81.
pretty
Yeah,
close to
81
one.
watts. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you want to just reverse it and just do high, or do you want to?
Yeah. I'll just do high reverse. To my knowledge, this is the setting it was in the video. Of course, we started messing with the pull chain when we first found it, but the reverse switch was definitely in the up position when we found it. I don't know for sure, but it looked to be high reverse. Yeah, this might be a new record for hum out here.
Teach the words.
Alright. Yeah, it's fine. I don't foresee it being too different.
Nope.
Maybe slightly lower, but negligibly.
Okay.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the downside is if we did leave it running on high overnight, the sheep might complain.
The sheep aren't gonna get any sleep.
Steve will come by here. What's that? I can feel the ground shaking at my house. Anybody want? Okay, Andy, where do you think it's gonna start?
I'll say 4.
Rick,
I would say 3.
your metalness?
I'll go with 5.
Okay. I think if the bearings were good, it would start on 2, but since they're not, I think 2 is unlikely. So I guess I'll go with 6.
Okay.
1, 2. I guess movement.
It looked like it budged on 2.
3, 4.
I think it budged again, but
Yeah, it's got a stuff spot right
5.
there, which makes sense because that's where it would stop on spin down.
6.
Oh yeah, they're really stiff.
there we go.
Okay, let's try that again. It's of course the rough bearings. It's just the nature of it.
Did you put oil in it or WD?
Zoom spot.
I would definitely do some WD because that's gonna get rid of the rust and pitting more.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think it would probably. Yeah, I think normally it would probably start at 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And with these bearings, it's starting on 6.
Yeah.
But even that's gonna get moving pretty quick, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, those bearings are there.
Yeah, like I said, I would give it a WD-40 bath and then let it run overnight. It's up, like I said, you can do that here or at my house or at your house. I think you're less likely to do it at your house.
I could definitely try some WD. Yeah, I did a zoom spot just because that's what. I don't know. I guess
If they're if they're not like rusty, then yeah, zoom spout. But
yeah, I'm sure they're rusty. I mean, everything on this thing's rusty.
yeah,
Okay, well, so 6 is actually not a bad low.
No.
Even like that. All right, so here's 7.
Pete
Yeah.
Pete does not like this fan because he is the
He's
least.
always on his phone. Yeah.
He's the least enthusiastic about crunching I've ever seen.
Andy's faster on it than him. Okay, and
We're not even on 8 yet.
Well,
I wish I had the leaf blower.
That'd be leaf blower. This is a
Crunch.
That was not much interest in the crunching.
No, I'm telling you, this is not metal. I bet you this fan is gonna go.
Oh. Here's 9.
This might even be Milli Vanilli or whatever his bottom category is. Yeah.
Here it is. 10.
Okay, everybody get ready for the most unenthusiastic crunching you've ever heard.
You just need regular earmuffs in this one. It's probably not gonna be too bad.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
12.
Crunch. Crunch.
13.
Crunch. Let me try some of your crunchables. I've tried Pete's. Time to try yours. Oh, there's a lot left in here. You go through them a lot less quickly than...
Less crunching. Seems like here's 14.
I think Pete eats like... I don't even know how many chips in a serving, but, you know.
How many chips do you eat at a time, Pete?
Depends.
The metal number. It's either 8, 12, or 20.
Whenever I have a work night and I know you guys are testing fans, I'll make a point to get those salt and vinegar chips like at a truck stop and eat them while I'm driving, just to at least support the sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it.
15. 16. 17. 18. It was 0.7.
Yep. 0.71-ish.
19.
Pete, you ready?
Yep.
And 20.
Crunch. You gotta sound sad about it.
Crunch.
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 With the nonchalant crunch.
Crunch.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. Here's 21. Probably gonna be pretty close. I don't know if something like this would even go over. 22, 23, 25. Yeah, sorry, I'm starting to go over a little bit. By like 5 volts.
Yeah, we're over, I think.
Oh, yeah, it sounds weird over, yeah. So it goes over about 22.
Okay, who wants to take their guesses for the solid state control?
I think we
know what.
got a solid guess what it might be,
Yeah.
but
Loud, louder, or loudest?
Okay.
Well, keep in mind, any noise that the fan makes without solid state control doesn't count against it.
well, yeah, because it just hums always.
So if it's the same, if it's just as loud, then it's technically silent. Because the solid state control is adding zero noise.
We're looking for sound induced by the solid
Right.
state control.
So
And with that in mind,
who still thinks it'll be scales?
Scales.
You know, after like Spinal Tap, the amps go to 11,
Yeah.
and then after 11 is scales, because scales is even louder than Spinal Tap.
why are we not? Well, we need some Mike and Ike here, like.
Oh, yeah.
I'm beginning to get those.
We should get Mike. Yeah, that's
We got
I like
100
them
scales.
too.
sound man fuel is what he calls them.
Why is he
Are there
called-
any
Because that's all he eats when he's on a gig.
Oh.
any spares in the fridge?
There's some Sperry's
There's
right
some,
here in the non-fridge, in the slightly
'cause
chilly.
I unplugged the fridge for the winter.
Toss him a Sperry is what he's asking.
Okay.
Okay, so not counting the hum that it already makes, I think it's probably going to be living room quiet.
I'm gonna bet scales just cause.
All right, cover your ears. This might be worse than the crunching on this one.
Hum.
Well,
Gives like kind of a.
we are dead wrong.
Put it wherever it's loudest.
You get that like high
Actually
pitch.
quieter.
It almost seems like it is.
Okay, so on the low end, it's actually quieter than its factory low.
Yep. Okay, what? Leave it there.
That's the worst right there, about a
Okay.
medium-ish.
Okay, so then let's hit. I'm gonna go with 20, and then we'll go
It's like you trade hum for that high pitched stuff.
Yeah, that's the coils vibrating. So it's not silent, but it's
It's not nearly as bad as we thought.
no. Okay, we already did 0 to high.
Yes, we did do 0.
Okay, well, let's skip the order a little bit. Metal Pete, where do you rank this fan?
Oh, this is definitely 5-finger death claw.
Now,
Okay.
if it was this fan but in perfect running and cosmetic shape, then would it still be 5-finger death punch, or would you like it a little better?
I might like it a little better just because I seen these commonly as a kid.
Yeah.
It's GE vent type stuff.
They were pretty common, yeah. Okay.
I kept wondering what the church in my grade school had. They were a white GE vent of some sort. Definitely not Casablanca Zephyrs, but they were something. Probably air cool.
Yeah.
Okay, what if it was the cast motor version, like the early 80s one?
Those are a bit better. I actually do like those. I just got a cast motor tap
Right.
not long ago.
You guys reminded me. So I've talked before. There's a school here in Madison, a private school, that has fans in every classroom, and it's much like that school that Robbie Lawrence's films at.
Yeah, that's his church.
Where they just throw up whatever fans that they had, and none of them match.
Yeah.
It's
I always find that entertaining, like when they just throw up
Yep.
whatever.
Well, that's
they
how
want.
the school in Madison is, a Wingra school. Andy, you've ever been there? I don't know if all the fans are still there, but when I was a kid, every classroom had 2 fans, and sometimes the 2 fans in the classroom would match, but almost no 2 classrooms were the same. First place I ever saw an Evergo Emperor, and I loved it. But probably the most common fan in that school was this exact fan, same canopy, 4 blades, the Kmart
Flush
version,
mount?
flush mounted. Yep.
Did it have that little pull chain too? That same like.
Was
I
it
don't remember.
rather older school like the
Yep, they had the louvered fixtures and brick tiles and everything.
down rods look like the lights on down
Yep.
rods.
So the lights hung lower than the fan.
The lights hung way lower than the fans. Yeah, they'd have.
Yeah.
There were these, and then probably the second most common fan was like Heritage's on like a 2-foot down rod.
Oh, nice.
But
Like
then-
Heritage Phil Spectors or like what kind of?
The GE Vent 5-blade
Oh,
ones.
the Lancaster.
Yep, and then there were some 4-blade fans in large classroom. 42-inch fans in large classrooms. So it's clear they weren't paying attention to the size either. Like I said, one classroom had Evergo Emperors, and I always tried to go peek in that classroom, and just very cool installs. But
That's pretty cool.
this was one of the more common fans there. Okay, Andy, you want to give this a ranking?
I'd say middle of train, so a good SD40-2 type of. These are they're 80s GE event with stencil, but they're better 80s GE
Yeah.
event fans.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So I'm not going to hold its condition against it, because I would hate for somebody to do that to me. So,
Big oof.
yeah. So just basing on the fan itself, I'd say low end of Quick Trip. These were a big part of my childhood, but they were never a favorite of my childhood. But even so, they were cooler than most of the things my dad bought and installed. So if he would have gotten one of these to put in the dining room instead of a generic hugger, I might have been very happy about it. So, is that everybody?
I mean, for me, I to be totally honest with you, like when we first started doing the fan rescuing, I wasn't even sure if I was going to take this. But honestly, the more times I passed, the more I was like, yeah, I think I might grab it.
Plus, other collectors kind of really wanted you to
There
get
are
it.
a few collectors, one of which is like almost too gay to function.
That's true.
That really likes the specific fan that remembers it from
Gayest
the video.
fan. Have you heard that story,
he's
Andy?
Extremely gay.
Yes. So there's a
Did
fan
you like
collector.
my Mean Girls reference?
It's all Mean Girl references are great. I am a big Mean Girls advocate.
He's too gay to function.
So there's a fan collector who I was trying to describe to Rick, and because he's one of the fan collectors that I will pick on, but not in like, I call him dumb all the time, but not because he's actually dumb. And he's actually a very nice kid. He's probably an adult now, but I've known him as a kid. So, and I was trying to explain who it was, and I was like, he has these fans, he lives in this area, and does this and that and the other thing. And Rick had no idea who I was talking about. And I said, he's probably the gayest fan collector you've ever met. And then Rick
And I'm like,
immediately,
oh, it's Baltimore Alarms and Fans, isn't it?
yes. And so, yeah, that
There's
clocked
where
him
that
immediately.
started, yeah.
So yeah,
But
he
yeah,
is.
but yes, and so there's, like I was saying, there's an old video where this exact fan can be seen, and he remembers it.
So yeah, he might end up getting this.
You may see this on the BAF channel at some point. So.
Yeah, I think you have enough Abando fans. It's time to spread the love.
I'm fine with letting him have this one, I think.
So,
But yeah, so it's a neat find.
You can only hang so many rust buckets in your living room.
Yeah, no, I've got a lot of them already, so this one's a good one. We'll just,
But tell me after camera, but I keep forgetting to ask. Any news on the old original R52?
Oh, I haven't. It's still up for sale.
Gotcha. Okay, we'll come back to that. So yeah, okay. Well, it's time to thank our sponsors: Rust, WD-40, more Rust, Gary, Indiana, and
the Jackson 5.
Yeah, Jackson 5. Fan stick, light stick, taco burrito, Mexico, Sperry, Power Man, the vacuum with 2 vacuums.
By the way, actually, quick side note: the hospital this was in, this is the one Michael Jackson was born in. Not even kidding.
I can't remember if you've mentioned it on the video or not before.
I don't know if I have. Well, it's public now. Yes, these and the other 2 fans.
I don't think I have any Prince significant ceiling fan trivia. I'll have to get some. Because while I personally dislike comparing Michael Jackson to Prince because they were both great in different ways, I think everybody knows that if I have to pick, I pick Prince because Prince was could play every instrument better than anybody else. I know I can point out the McDonald's that he used to loiter in front of when he was homeless, but I don't think it had any fans. I'll have to look for some Prince-related ceiling fan lore. Nice. There was in Uptown, because he's got a song called Uptown, and the Uptown is an actual place in Minneapolis. There used to be Crumpton Greaves, Stratojets, a bunch of cool fans in Uptown. But he didn't mention them in the song. So, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with him. So, okay, yeah. Power Man, the vacuum with 2 vacuums. And
vacuum with 2 vacuums.
I'm just going to keep finding ways.
Worse.
Sucks twice as hard.
I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to try to find a way to butcher Powermate every video that I can. RiggerSheep.com, A1220 LLC, where our motto is a very sad crunch. Well, I wonder if this fan warrants a visit from Metal Jonas or if it's just not cool enough. Whoa, I think we actually have a visitor. It could be Mr. McFeely. Could be, oh, nope, it's Metal Jonas. How does this fan rank, Metal Jonas?
This is definitely Dollhouse. Probably Dollhouse.
Well, but Jonas loves abandonments, though. So
Jonas was in this place.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But Jonas and Metal Jonas are not the same.
Yes,
so
Metal Jonas maybe.
Yeah, okay. Anything you're looking for, real quick?
How about, do you have any Homestead catalog?
Yes, they're in the abandoned hospital with the.
Or any New Tone catalogs?
Michael Jackson has them.
Yeah.
And any Casablanca catalogs?
No.
Or even some Emerson catalogs?
What do you think of House on the Rock, Metal Jonas?
Oh, House on the Rock. One word, incredible. One word, overwhelming. One word, amazing.
Wow. Thanks for watching. Bye, Fansick.